Top Girl Coach and BTS. Hi there! Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going over everything I read in August. I've read 3 books in August, and I am just going to be posting my little reviews slash chit chat slash little thoughts on what I read. So if you're interested in that, just keep on watching. I'm going to start off with a book I read on ebook. So I don't have it physically with me. I will be posting the picture somewhere around here. Okay, but anyway, it's called Nightbitch. And I know YouTube doesn't like swear words, but it's like, how are you going to censor the title of the book? So I'm just going to say swear words. So if you are not old enough to appreciate swear words for what they are, sorry. Probably shouldn't be reading this book anyway. Nightbitch. I have been so excited because, like, at the time of recording this, it's like September now, so we're officially in the Burr months. Halloween's coming up soon. I'm literally about to go decorate my house, like, right after this video. So I wanted something spooky and weird, which again is what I read year round. But I feel like as soon as I see a yellow leaf, I'm like, yes, lock in, activate. So this is Nightbitch. Nightbitch, I don't think I would not label it as horror necessarily. Is it weird and bizarre? Yeah. Is it a little spooky? Yeah. But straight up horror? I don't know. But anyway, this is basically just feminist critique of motherhood. Okay, there's the book. Yay. No, but this woman has a toddler and she is now a stay-at-home mom after having completed, I believe, a master's degree and having her dream career. She gets married, has baby, leaves dream job to have baby, and feels herself being torn between the responsibilities of being a mother and having this self-sacrificing nature that is assumed of all mothers, and then also balancing that with her desires in terms of like fulfillment of oneself as an individual, having her own identity as an artist, and things like that. So we meet her at this juxtaposition in her life. Her husband travels for work a lot, so it's not even like he's around really, which adds to the sort of like isolation one might feel when raising like a kid essentially by themselves. Okay, so, and it's hard because she, again, like most mothers do, feels the need that she can't really complain about this sorts of stuff because she has an immense amount of privilege where her husband can be like the sole provider of the family, right? And a lot of other families aren't in that sort of situation. So this is where we find her. And she loves her son. Obviously, she talks about that quite a bit, but there's some things that drive her bonkers. This is one of those books, again, I always love these, and and if you watch my channel, you might get sick of them, but this book covers a woman's slow descent into madness, question mark. Because yes, because she thinks she's turning into a dog. From the get-go, we see her complaining about having additional body hair or having certain impulses and desires, and they are all very canine-like in nature. So she legit thinks she's turning into a dog. And because because the book is through her perspective, we're not really sure if she is turning into a dog or not. There's evidence for and against, I guess. And even in the end, it's a little ambiguous, I guess, but not really. I don't want to spoil the ending for you, so I'm not going to talk about it. But yeah, so we don't really know if she turns into a dog or not, but it's supposed to be kind of like a metaphor for her carnal desires or like her true self or her true desires, right? And so she incorporates some of the messiness and weirdness that comes with being a dog into her parenting style and with her son. And it gets to a point where it crosses the line a little bit, in my opinion, but I'm not a mom, so I don't know. But there's also elements of like comparing oneself with other moms in like peer groups. So like there's like a library group of a bunch of moms of kids with a similar age range who meet, and she constantly compares herself to these other women, and sometimes in a negative way, or sometimes like she feels like she's better than them in a way because like she doesn't want to be a stereotypical mom. Like one of the moms is like in an MLM scam basically, or like peddles these sorts of MLM type products, and I feel like that's a very big stereotype when it comes to women who are mothers and who, you know, like are stay-at-home moms, but they still want that career, right? And in case I haven't made my feelings about MLMs known, I think that obviously they're a scam. It's a pyramid scheme just repackaged in a way to appeal to mostly Christian stay-at-home moms to make them feel like they're still having this accomplishment when really the payoff isn't that great. It is a pyramid scheme inherently is like you only make money the more people you rope into your scheme. So the more followers you have, the more money you make. And, it's not necessarily about selling product. And a lot of people find themselves entrapped and they like see all these stories of people winning cars or trips or whatever. But at the same time, this is a very insidious way of marketing. So that's kind of how I feel about MLMs. Side tangent. But anyway, so there's moms like that who but eventually she gets to know them a little bit better and she realizes that they all have similar feelings that they just don't talk about, but it's being expressed in other ways. And then she finds a solution for herself at the end to balance between motherhood and this animalistic side of her. I should also mention that throughout the book, she references another book she's reading. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a study on wild women, basically. And like she reads this book by a made-up anthropologist, right? And it's a made-up book, but it's about beast-like women or women-like beasts in different parts of the world. So there's like some women who turn into birds when they're old. There's some other werewolf-like women, or it just catalogs different women. And like again, the beast-like transformations are just metaphors for the performance that is femininity, gender, women's roles, and stuff like that. Because again, none of this really exists, but it's like society tells us to do things, and we're like, okay, not all of us. Some of us are trying to push back against that. Hence this book, right? But for your average person, like there's a lot of constraints when it comes to being feminized and being a femme presenting person or a woman, right? So that's essentially Nightbitch, and and I know the cover is really scary because it has raw meat on there. I guess trigger warning. There is the consumption of raw meat a couple times in this book. So if you're not really a fan of that, that's fine. Girl, we've all had a little steak tartare before. I eat sushi. I eat raw meat too, but I just don't do it on all fours. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's Nightbitch. I really enjoyed this movie. I found a movie. I really enjoyed this book. I found myself tearing through it quite fast. This is one of the reads I really enjoyed this month. I think it's hard to say if it's my favorite because I liked all the books I read this month, which is a good problem to have, right? But I just feel like for me, give me any book that's about a woman's descent into madness, and I'll probably end up liking it. Like, I'm a big fan of Mona Awad for that. That's what she kind of does. This book does that. There's another book on my to-be that I want to read really bad that I just found out about because I was listening to another YouTuber. They're kind of reading wrap up, and it's really popular right now. It's called Chlorine, and I really want to read it because it's about a woman or a girl who thinks she's a mermaid. So I love that kind of stuff. So yeah, I really like Nightbitch. If you're into all the kind of stuff that I said, I think you'd really like it too. Okay, so this is my in-between read from Freaky Deaky. This is Bookshops and Bonedust. This is the sequel, but technically prequel to Legends and Lattes, which I had on my channel before, quite a few videos back. But this, I just got the sequel recently. This is, again, very slow read, but in a good way. Like, this is what I would call a cozy fantasy. There's like a whole book genre that's like cozy books, which again, the way this Legends and Lattes was marketed is like high fantasy, low stakes. I would say this is very similar to that. Like, there is a big bad guy and there is like weird stuff going on, but most of the book plot revolves around reviving an old bookstore as opposed to any high fantasy battle. Like, there's one at the end, but like, again, it's enough plot to keep you interested, but at the same time not stress you out. I think cozy games and fiction as a whole really took off during the Miss Rona years. um, when people were inside and there was enough stuff stressing us out already, where I think that genre kind of took off. I know I'm a cozy game girly. I do find myself enjoying cozy books, but like it's just hard because I feel like it has to strike that right balance. And that is so up to interpretation for each individual. You know what I mean? Like maybe you don't have the attention span for a book like this. Maybe this is just the right speed for you. Maybe you wish it was slower. I don't know. For me, I really enjoyed this one. Now, can I tell you? Okay, so I'm trying to decide which one I like better, this one or Legends and Lattes. I think I still prefer Legends and Lattes over this one, even though I liked the villain in this one a lot. And I like the fact that it's about books and writing because, hey ho, that's what I do. um, but yeah, so I think I still prefer the first one had like a better love story, and obviously that like the love story in that one is supposed to be endgame, so it is going to be better than love story in here because this is about Viv when she's younger and she's still going through her like her guild phase, right, where she's still a battle orc and doing stuff. It starts off with Viv getting injured and she has to stay put in this like sleepy seaside town, and she's having a hard time sitting still when she's injured, which relatable. That's me too. Like I can tend to hurt myself and get sick pretty frequently. I think I'm just not blessed in that area, but I always find myself like struggling to stay still whenever when I am down and out. You know what I mean? Uh, so I can completely relate to that. But so she is in this town. She's staying in this inn, and she runs into a ratkin, which is this person right here. It's like a rat humanoid type person, and their pet, which is an owl pug mix thing. And their bookstore is not doing so good, and Viv kind of gives suggestions while she's in there. Viv herself learns how to read, but like starts to learn how to enjoy reading. It's not really a thing at this time, I guess, and the Ratkin's trying to convince everybody else to read books. So it's stuff like that. If you like home renovation, which thing I love, libraries, bookstores, um, marketing, you love this. Which again, I love that. I like the environment of this book. I just like the romance of the other one better. The first one, Legends and Lattes, is about Viv retiring from her life as a like part of a troop killing things, and she opens up her own coffee shop in this other town, and then she falls in love with this tiefling lady, and they run the coffee shop together. So that's the first book, right? And then this one is the prequel. So none of that happens. But she is seeing this dwarf woman who sounds like a hot girl, to be honest. This dwarf lady runs a bakery, and they're like seeing each other kind of. But you know, it's not really that serious. So if you kind of like casual relationships, you might like this one. I like the dwarf lady a lot. I thought she was sassy. Yeah, it's just kind of like, you know, when you have a good person but it's the wrong timing type relationship. So this is a romance. It's a cozy fantasy romance. I know people are gonna ask, like, no, no. I feel like when you say romance, a lot of people ask about spice levels. There's not really any spice in this, and there's not really any spice to the other one too. Which again, I prefer like low levels of spice or like not really any, just because that's who I am. If I had to make a comparison, like this is really good, but this is a lot slower than this other cozy fantasy romance that I read. I love this book, and I cannot wait to get the sequels of this. But the Encyclopedia of Fairies feels a little bit more faster than this because somebody was marketing this as a cozy read, and it is. It takes place in like wintertime and stuff, and it's not like super actiony, but this has more action than this one does for sure. So I would say like if you want slow, I would give this a read. I enjoyed it, but again, like it's again, somebody else who read this, I saw in their review, they said they read through it in like a day or two. I don't know how, because for me this is my de-stressor, so I take it as a chapter at a time. But that's just me. So there's Bookshops and Bonedust for you. Okay, the last book I read is Clown in a Cornfield. I actually bought this all at the same time. So preference. I went to a book signing where Adam was there, and I've been following him on Instagram for a while, and he's doing a book tour for the third installment of this series. and I got to meet him, and I'll put pictures of us meeting here. Ignore me, I don't really look my best because I was nervous and my body language is really awkward, and that makes for really unflattering angles. Oopsies. But it was a good time. He came here to Chicago, I got to meet him, and so I got signed copies of all of his books. Beep. See? So I got this one, the second one, and the third one. And now when I tell you I powered through this one, it was really good. So this is marketed more as a YA horror, but I still feel like, because it says like Harper Teen, yeah. But I still feel like you can enjoy this as an adult. I'm almost 30 and I enjoyed this. So it is basically like, okay, this is basically like a high slasher type. If you like slasher movies, you'll like this because the majority of the content in here is like slasher, actiony, very high, fast-paced type stuff, which I didn't think I would like, but I actually really did. It just kept me really engaged the whole time. Like the beginning's a little slow, not really slow. I thought it was a good pace, but I think other people think it's slow. But it's about a girl who moves from Philadelphia to the Midwest, and well, is Pennsylvania part of the Midwest? I don't think it technically is. I think it's still East Coast, but anyway, moves to the Midwest, small town vibes, and she moves in with her dad, and then she kind of finds herself integrating with this like clique of other teenagers that have a certain reputation around town, an unfavorable one. In the beginning, it felt very much to me like Breakfast Club vibes. I think these kids that she's hanging out with are known for making YouTube videos and like prank videos and stuff like that. And sometimes their pranks have taken things a little bit too far. In one instance, it was like way too far and it had like deadly consequences. I'm not going to spoil that for you. But yeah, so they have a bad reputation around town for being like disrespectful youngins, I guess. The clown element of this, because it's a clown in a cornfield, is that their small town is like a dying small town, and being from Indiana, I know exactly what's being referenced here. My hometown, South Bend, Indiana, for a while was a dying industrial town, so slightly different, but in South Bend, there's a lot of surrounding towns around it that are tiny towns that are more rural. So like I lived on the outskirts of South Bend on the west side, and that is like in between South Bend and a bunch of tiny towns. So I kind of got exposed to a lot of different elements of blue collar America. Let's just say that. So yeah, I come from a dying industrial town. The big thing there was the Studebaker factory and like certain other factories for a long time. Then that died away, and so in my town there's a ton of abandoned buildings, like abandoned industrial buildings, just abandoned buildings downtown. You know, there's been some economic growth in the past when Pete Buttigieg was our mayor, and I remember having this kind of like uptick in coolness in downtown South Bend. And like I like downtown because there's some like more hipstery type places there, but along with that comes like gentrification and stuff. And so I could go in a whole deep dive about my hometown and like how I feel about it. Obviously, I'm not there anymore, but like I still have mixed, strong feelings about my hometown, and I'll get into some of those within this too, because the this came out in 2020, and I can really tell it came out in 2020 because it doesn't reference a pandemic or anything, but there is an ideological divide between the young folks and the people who've been in this town for a long time. Because I'm from the Midwest, I knew exactly the language they were using. Midwest nice, where it's like they were talking about these kids, and there's certain members of the town that want to make this town great again. It's called Kettle Springs, I think. Or am I making that up? I think it's called, editing me will check. Okay, so they want to make this town great again. All I gotta say. And in order to do that, I completely missed over the clown shit. I am so sorry. I'm like rambling here. Okay, the clown is the town's mascot. It was the face of a corn syrup factory. Hence why I was talking about South Bend. Y'all gonna catch me monologuing again. Y'all gonna come at me for yapping in the comments. But anyway, the clown is based on a mascot called Friendo, which was the mascot of a sugar cane or sugar, not sugar cane, corn syrup. It was based on a corn syrup plant, in this town, and so they want to. Some of the folks there want to bring back the old times of when the town was economically thriving, and they are trying to convince the dad of one of the main characters to come back and do business there, despite having some great loss in his life. And like the son of this guy is like ostracized in the community. He's like the main one that's kind of like ostracized, right? Okay, we got all that taken care of. Sorry for rambling. Anyway, so with that kind of language, you kind of know what's going on. And some members of the town decide to take that amongst themselves to bring about the change they so desire. I hope that doesn't spoil anything for you. Okay, yeah, but that's the plot of this book. And it's just clowns. It's like killer clown. So some people are comparing this to It. I don't think it gives It, like, just because it's a clown, a story, like a scary clown story, it's not It. It's completely different. I really like this book. I think I gave it like a 4 stars. I'm trying to stay away from the star ratings because I think like it's better to have discussions about books than just like arbitrary stars. So I really enjoyed this book. I think it was really well written. I got what it was trying to do. There was some sexualization of teens that I felt uncomfortable reading as a 30-year-old, but this is YA, so if you are reading this as a teenager, you might not have the same feelings as I do, but that's okay. And not that bad. It was just about teen girls looking hot and shit, and I was like, you know what? That's not for me, but this again is for a teenager, so yeah. Anyway, the only other gripe I really had with this is that I felt like this at times felt a little stereotypy of Midwesterners, or like just a little bit of a caricature of Midwesterners. I'm not saying it's completely incorrect, but being a Midwesterner myself, and coming from these sorts of communities where there are people like this, and there are gun-toting, hunting folks, and there is stuff like sleepy towns with not a lot going on in certain places. Maybe I just felt it was a little stereotypy, but it's okay. It's one book and it's short and it was mostly focused on the violence and stuff. That's me nitpicking. Okay, that's me nitpicking because I really did enjoy this. I'm excited to start reading the sequel to this. So let me show you what those look like on camera real quick. So yeah, so this is the first one, Clown in the Cornfield. This is Clown in the Cornfield 2, Friendo Lives. This is Clown in the Cornfield 3. This is what really just came out, and this is what Adam was promoting. I have the hardcover of this one, and then the paperback of the first 2. So this is what they look like. And I think they look really cohesive. I really like the covers. They look really cool. So these are definitely going to be like my Halloween reads. Like, look how Halloween they just scream. So yeah, I'm going to work on these 2 whenever I can. I also have another Halloween read kind of for October that I started, which is Such Sharp Teeth. I'm hoping to get into this like while I'm going to be on a plane soon, so I'm thinking I'm bringing this with me. But I read Black Sheep by the same author, Rachel Harrison. I liked Black Sheep. I felt like that one was a little bit on the nose for me. But it's a werewolf, so I'm going on with the dog theme. So these are going to be some of my reads for hopefully like October. I have my other cozy read that I've been reading in between, which is the Can't Spell Treason Without Tea that I talked about last time. So that's on my thing, but I'm kind of like cycling through books. So I also want to get these done for between September and October maybe. And there's a couple indie books I was thinking about digging into too, but I'll talk about that later. Anyway, I'm running around circles, but this is really good. It definitely feels 2020 to me. There is some humor, young people humor that is a little bit dated because it's like 2020, like World Star. I don't know if that's a thing anymore, but this feels very fun and young, and I can tell, like, I can see Adam in this. I mean, obviously I don't know him personally, like he's just an internet person to me, but like I can see his personality in this, and so I think this is actually getting turned into a movie. My editing me will double check that, but when I saw on his thread post that I saw a thread post recently where he said that this is going to be a rated R movie, even though it's like a teen book, because there is, I guess, underage drinking in it at one point in time, which, you know, I did not do that in high school, just saying. But, you know, in the Midwest, there's not a lot to do sometimes. So, you know, some people do that kind of thing. Hey, that it is what it is. But yeah, I really like this. I thought it was a cool experience to meet somebody and like that you've seen online for a long time, and then like meet them in person. I don't know, that's kind of fun. So yeah, that's everything I read in August. Oh my god, August flew by. Like, let's be so for real. August came so fast. I hope that I can. It's not as September and October and all that aren't as fast because I love enjoying fall, and I'm ready for that. Fall is like some of my favorite time of year. I just you can tell I already got my sweatshirt on. I'm cozy. I got the hair up. I'm like little Megan the Stallion looking, like a bob with fringe. Like, yes, I'm coming alive. But yeah, hopefully fall will last a little bit longer and we can really like slow down and enjoy it because August was crazy and it's been so hot lately, so hot. That's why I got up early and I got my Halloween decorations from my basement, and it was so chilly outside. I was like actually kind of excited about it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this video again next month, and hopefully I'll have more spooky reads for you if that's your thing. And if not, I'll talk to you about the cozy fantasy romance, lesbian romance that I'm reading because again, that seems to be my only. That's my spectrum. It's cozy fantasy lesbians or spooky ooky scary horror. there's no in between. But yeah, if you like this video, please let me know by leaving a like down below. Comment if down below if you've read anything that I've read, or if you're looking forward to reading a certain thing in fall times, or if you have any suggestions for me, I'll really take them. Hello. You can also share this with a friend or subscribe to the channel. Please, please, please. That would help me out a lot. And until next time, thanks. Bye.